Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Sean's Horror Corner. As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Everyone who's been subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting, thank you. You guys are amazing. I really do appreciate it. Today, I'm so excited, I'm so honored, and I'm also so nervous to welcome on a guest, Miss Lauren Marie Taylor. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Sean. It's nice to hear an Oklahoma accent. I haven't heard that since I was about 9 years old when I spent about a month there in good old Heavener, Oklahoma, before it started snowing.
Yes. Yeah, I've been in Oklahoma almost my entire life, other than 9 years, and I lived in Texas during that, so not much difference.
So 2 feet of snow is shocking to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, we don't get that. Um, yeah, thank you again so much for coming on. I have a couple of questions for you before we really get into anything. I think probably most of my listeners know you from Friday the 13th Part 2 and In a Violent Nature. And, we can't help that. That's where I first became familiar with you in Friday the 13th Part 2. I mean, it was one of my favorite movies growing up and one of the reasons that I loved horror. So, yeah. So, but you, and we talked about this before I started recording, but I'm going to ask you again now so it can be out there for everybody. What are your thoughts on horror? Do you like horror movies? Do you watch them on your own that often, or you just star in them?
Yeah, it's funny because you would think, I go to conventions and things like that, and I see a lot of people. A lot of my friends are in the horror genre, of course, because we all see each other, and that's how we all meet. I'm a big fan of the Conjuring universe. So when I go to a movie theater, I'll go see The Conjuring, or I'll go and see A Quiet Place. But at home, I do watch horror. Of course, I watch any of my friends who come out in horror movies. I
Sure.
gotta watch them, of course. I'm a big thriller girl.
Okay.
I'm a big Silence of the Lambs girl. I love The Shining.
Okay.
Carrie is one of my favorite
Oh,
horror.
absolutely. Yeah.
That was especially being a good Catholic girl growing up, so Catholic. So any kind of religious horror like The Omen, The
Yes.
Exorcist, and Carrie, of course, with the mother with the closet with the crucifix. It was like, ah! That's the kind of horror I like. And I like old school horror too. Like most recently, the new Frankenstein movie. I was all over that. I thought it was so well done. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand. I grew up in a religious home as well, so I completely understand a lot of that. You mentioned Carrie as one of your favorites. Do you have a favorite horror movie? Is it Carrie, or is there something else that stands out even more than that one?
If I watched over and over again horror movies of the old school movies,
Hmm.
gosh, I really loved The Omen.
Okay.
I guess it's kind of a tie of that era, because I don't know
Sure.
if Shining is really a horror movie. It's more of like a horror thriller, a
Right.
creepy movie. That's my
Yeah.
all-time favorite.
Okay.
All-time favorites. But The Omen and Carrie, if I'm flipping, going through cable and whatnot or whatever, if it comes up, only until February 28th, can you catch this movie? I'm like, I'm on,
Right.
or it leaves the channel. So yeah, those
Yeah.
types of things. You would think that I would be a big Halloween fan because that's more in my era, but there's
Right.
something about, again, the creepy religious undertones that really make me crazy and creep me out.
Okay. Yeah. No, I completely understand that. Yeah, I feel like now I am more of a slasher guy. That's Friday the 13th, Halloween, that kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I love that stuff, but I do like all the older ones more than some of the newer stuff and remakes and that kind of thing that came out. I just think it was so much better back then. And I grew up in the 80s, so that was my time. I mean, I love that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I
Um,
think a lot of new movie makers, a lot of the younger guys, or even some of the old school guys who've decided, you know what, I want to go old school, and they crowdfund and everything, and they make
yes.
old school horror movies with practical effects, and
Right.
those you appreciate too, because you think, oh, how did they do that? There are some special effects, but they're more early Tom Savini special effects,
Yes.
the latex and the this and the old school. Yeah,
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Tom Savini was a master. So yeah, I completely
yeah.
agree. Before we get into some of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, though, what are some of your newer projects? Some things that you're working on now that we can look forward to maybe seeing you in? Or
Well, recently, okay, so I worked with these British guys, David Lennigan, Charlie Steeds, with Dark Temple Motion Pictures out of London, and they come to the States every year and they do it like a trilogy type of thing. So
Okay.
recently, the second movie I did with them that just came out, it's called Snake Manor, and it's kind of a funny part because she's a little bit on the diva-y side,
Okay.
but she gets her comeuppance, and it's called Snake Manor for a reason. So that was fun. I just did that. I mean, it just came out, but I just filmed. This is really cool. I just filmed Christmas at Aunt Betty's with Eileen Dietz, plays
Oh
my
wow.
mother.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Don Milky from part one is in it. He plays the caretaker of our estate, and Bill Randolph from part two, he plays a priest of all things.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. It's got some supernatural effects, but it's also there's nice amount of blood. So those two I'm doing. Just did another project called Loose Ends Victim No More Part Two,
Okay.
and that was directed by Bobby Heckman, and that's nice. There are a bunch of us. Catherine Mary Stewart is one of the directors, and she's also in it, and that's kind of cool. And I'm excited about a project that I'm working with the director B. Harrison Smith, and it's the first. It's just finished. It's coming out in February, mid-February, and it's the first 100% full-length AI horror movie.
Oh wow. Okay.
And it's wild. It's a proof of concept. It's wild. It shows that you can do this. And so
Yeah.
he's using a version of my likeness, and my husband's like, your character is not as pretty as you are. I'm like, oh, you're my ass now. But so and so he uses my voice and everything. I didn't like read a script, so
Sure.
everything is AI. My voice is mine, but it's everything that he does. So it's an interesting thing. I know a lot of people are against that, and we mentioned just earlier about practical effects, and here I'm
Right.
working on an AI movie with someone, but it's just it's another creative way of seeing the
Sure.
horror genre. I don't think it'll. I think actors will always be there,
Oh yeah.
and they've been doing AI in movies how long? Star Wars,
Yes.
I mean, forever.
Right.
Yeah. So this is just taking the creativity to a different level, and seeing what can be done in that space. So it's very cool. Very
Yeah.
excited to see it. I mean, I've seen
Yes.
it, but I'm excited for everybody to see it.
Everybody to see it now. Very
Yeah.
exciting. So you were very busy still.
Yeah, yeah. I keep busy. Yes.
That's a good thing. All right. Very good. Well, I'm Court, and I'm sure that some of the things that I'm going to ask you about, I'm sure you've been asked a million times, but I'm going to ask you anyway. So, we mentioned again Friday the 13th, part two. Um, what are some of your favorite memories from being a part of that film and the things that you enjoyed the most?
Yeah. Well, one of the things was going into Carl Fullerton's studio when he was making all the like the heads. Like I was there
Okay.
when they made Tom McBride's head.
Oh, okay.
That's a really cool thing. I don't usually talk about that a whole lot because my memory has like little pockets that says today you're going to talk about that because you were thinking about that. So that was kind of cool because it was my first big movie. I mean, movie, if you know what
Sure.
I mean. I've been doing TV commercials forever. So it was like, wow, I'm doing a movie. This is really cool. And so to see that and go, wait, what is that? What are you doing with its face? What are you doing with its head? And it was just so cool to watch him do that. Meanwhile, I just had a little prosthetic, but I was there when he was doing Tom McBride's, and that process was just so fascinating to see as a young actor. So that was kind of cool. And then I've never been to camp before, because I'm from the Bronx. I'm from concrete jungle.
Right.
Swimming pool was opening up a fire hydrant with a wrench, jumping
Yes.
fences and, hoping for a patch of grass somewhere to land when you're playing tag with your brother. You know,
Right.
I can't tell you the scraped up knees that I've had as a child from concrete jungle living. So going from, that upbringing and whatnot to going to the hills, and I thought they were mountains, but they're just hills, and to a sleepaway camp, it's like, wait, why is it so quiet? Why is it so dark? What are those sounds outside? It was the creepiest experience of my life. And
Okay.
they took advantage of that. They played tricks on me and they took advantage of me. Um, but also it was because we were living together, and even with the background actors, the other
Mhm.
counselors that didn't have a lot of, have lines, basically.
Sure.
We were all living together, so there was a sense of camaraderie, and it didn't matter whether you had, I mean, we were all co-stars. I don't want to say, I mean, obviously, Amy Steele's character was the lead because she's the final girl, but we were
Right.
all even playing, including everybody who was there who didn't have
Very nice.
lines in the script. So that was a nice experience. That was a cool experience. Yeah.
Did you have any idea, or did any of the, or really, I guess the people that you were working with have any idea? Friday the 13th has become so huge, in pop culture, and even people that don't watch, those type of movies know who Jason is. Did you have any idea at that time, since you were part of the second one, that it would become what it did?
No, not at all. To us, it was just another gig. It was just, another gig, another job. And, then when I started seeing sequels come out, I was like, wow, why are they doing that? I had no idea what they were doing. They were doing that. And it wasn't until years later, excuse me, I have feather in my throat.
Yeah.
It wasn't until years later. I think it was when part 10 came out or something. Because I was busy during that time. I was busy on the soap opera and having children. So I didn't really keep track of the franchise.
Sure.
But my youngest daughter, I don't remember what grade she was in, but she was pretty young. And it was when cell phones were this big. And I got on my cell phone. It was Warrington Gillette, who was the Jason that flew through the window in our movie.
Yeah.
Hey, Lauren, what are you doing? And I'm in the city. What are you doing? Because I moved up to the burbs when we were expecting our kids. And I said, well, I'm in the city right now. I go, oh, come on over. Some Penn hotel. And I said, whatever for? He goes, you'll see. It's a convention. And that's when I realized the effect that this franchise had on the horror community. Because I was like, what is this? You don't know about these? And I said, no. And it was just, and I'm walking around going, this is crazy. I had no idea until that moment when I walked into that convention hall. That was what was going on.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, that's so cool that you got to be a part of it in the beginning like that. Do you do a lot of conventions now, or?
It ebbs and flows, depending on availability. I just couldn't go to one, that's a little further down the line.
Sure.
But yeah, I think since about 2018, 2019 is I started doing maybe 3 a year. So when it's a big anniversary year, like when it was the 40th anniversary back in one,
yes.
We went to Europe twice.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe almost a convention, I would say almost every month.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was kind of cool. Yeah. So we'll be going down to Days of the Dead in Atlanta at the end of February. And that'll be cool. February 20th to 22nd, I think.
Nice. Very exciting.
Yeah. I'm hoping to get out in your neck of the woods. I have not been to Texas or Oklahoma. I think the closest I've gotten is Chicago.
That's all right. We just had I had just went to my first horror convention last year.
Really?
Yes. Even though I had been a fan I just never gone to a convention. I'd always thought about it, but just never did make one. So I went last year to the first one here in Oklahoma City. And I know we have another one, I believe, coming now in July of this year, but it was so much fun getting a chance to meet people, that I've watched on screen. I got to meet Felissa Rose. I'll mention her right off the bat. Yes, Felissa's so much fun.
Yeah.
I met, Nick Castle from Halloween. I started to meet Doug Bradley, but that was the largest line I have ever seen in my entire life of people trying to get to someone. So
you haven't seen Matthew Willard's lines then.
Yeah, he was not there. Skeet Ulrich was there. Skeet Ulrich from Scream was there. I did not meet him either. I'm drawing like about 4 or 5 people, but the biggest two to me were Nick Castle and Felissa Rose, because I've just watched them from so long, Halloween, Sleepaway Camp. It was so much fun getting to meet them, but then just seeing all the people dressed up in costumes and watching other people have an exciting time. It was just, the whole thing was so much fun.
I love that. I love the cosplayers. They're so much fun.
Yes. Yeah, I completely agree. It was great. And I'm looking forward to, I'm going to go to the one that we have coming in July. And looking forward to that. I haven't heard a full announcement of who all is going to be there yet. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a blast. So I'm looking forward to going to it. I'm sure that, and I'd like to get out and go to some outside of Oklahoma, but those that are
Mhm.
right here are easy. So I'll go to as many of these as I can and then try to branch out occasionally.
Yeah, I know they have some in Texas too that are pretty.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have some big ones in Texas. So yeah, it'll be fun.
big
Um,
big convention.
yes. From Friday the 13th Part 2, if and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the next horror project you had from there was Girls Night Out.
Yeah, yeah, girls' night out.
Talk to me about those experiences. How was that?
Well, I met my future husband.
Okay. Very nice.
That's like when people say, they're like, well, what are your memories? I said, I actually don't have any memories because I fell in love. And
Right.
that's all I could think about. Learn your lines and find that guy with the blue eyes whose name you cannot remember. How I could remember the name John, I don't know. But I could not remember that his name was John. All I knew was he was the goofy looking guy with the blue eyes. And
Okay.
yeah, so that was a lot of fun. It was fun to do. It was fun to do like the cheerleading scenes.
Right.
Um, reminded me of my days when I was a Cosmos cheerleader for a hot moment. So
Okay.
that was kind of fun to do that. And I didn't realize we rewatched it recently because we hadn't seen it in years.
Sure.
We rewatched it and we looked at each other and we were like, I don't know, there was that much blood when that thing came through the window. I didn't remember all the blood. Yeah.
Right.
But it
Yeah.
was a good experience. Again, that was one of those things where you're on set almost every day with the same people
Yeah.
because you're doing multiple scenes. So even if you're not in this scene, you're going to be in that scene, in an hour. So get
Right.
yourself ready. So that party scene that there was, it was really us. It was
Oh, wow. Okay.
a great party in character, of course, but
Sure.
the great party atmosphere, the photo that they take of all of us, it was so real. The amount of fun that we were having. It was a good time. Good set. Yeah.
So not as creepy as the Friday the 13th experience because you weren't out there in the country like that. Yeah.
No, no, we were taking buses everywhere. Yeah, from the city, from
Okay.
the town. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, and then just recently you had a role in A Violent Nature.
Yeah, I love that people are so shocked at the end. They're like, wait, that's Lauren. We didn't know you were in that. Like, yeah, little known fact. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was cool. That was shot in Canada,
Right.
all the way up in Sault Ste. Marie. When they told me, oh, you're going to be filming in Toronto, I went, oh, that's cool. My son and his wife live in Buffalo, so I'll just drive to Buffalo, wake up in the morning, and continue on to Toronto.
Right.
Oh, no, it was another 8 hours. Oh, wait a minute, huh? And I'm looking at my GPS and going, this can't be right. They said it was in Toronto. Toronto is right there, and it's telling me to go over there, all the way to Michigan, practically. So, but that was, I was only there for a few days,
Sure.
because they were basically done filming.
Right.
Postponed my filming because it kept snowing, and so for continuity reasons, they had to keep pushing and pushing and pushing the date by about a month, I would say.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that was fun. That was hard. It was hard because there was so many lines, so many words, and on day one, I wasn't driving the pickup
Mhm.
truck. They had it being, on flatbed with all the cameras on it.
Sure.
And the next day, Chris Nash said, Houston, we have a problem. I went, what? He goes, are you comfortable driving the scene? And I went, okay. So, I'm driving and there's a camera on the hood and I'm
Right.
really driving. And it's
Okay.
so funny because we went to see it with 8 of our friends when it came out here,
Mhm.
where we live in Hudson Valley. And they were all like, we could tell you were, without me even saying anything, they said, we could tell you were driving. And I said, how? And they said, that's how you drive. You look real quick and then you put your eyes back on the road. You look real quick. And I said, and I was on a back road with nobody around too.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Now, I think I had seen, because all of these movies that we've talked about, Friday the 13th Part 2, Girls Night Out, In a Violent Nature, I have seen all of those. But I thought I saw, when I was looking at some of your stuff, that there was another movie that came out right after In a Violent Nature, yet I haven't been able to find it anywhere. It almost seemed like it had maybe like and I'll look it back up real quick if I need to. It sounded like a Christmas horror movie or something. Was there
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's called He Sees You When You're Sleeping.
Yes, that's it. Okay.
Yeah. It's a Christmas horror movie. I think you can see it on some of the free channels.
Okay.
but yeah, it was around for a while, and it comes back and forth. I think maybe Dark Temple Motion Picture website might have links to all the movies.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, that was a fun one to do. We did that one upstate near Buffalo, so that one I could stay with my son when I was done with it. That was a fun experience. I got to fall over a couch and scream and get picked, and not give anything away. But being killed by Santa Claus is everyone's fantasy, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I felt so bad because I'm like, I know she's been in another one and I've seen the rest of these, but I could not find this one. So I'll go look on maybe some of those free platforms, or maybe, it may be gone till
Maybe
Christmas time,
YouTube.
who knows? But yeah, YouTube, something like that. So out of these four that we've talked about, Friday the 13th, 2, Girls Not Out, In a Violent Nature, He Sees You While You're Sleeping, what was your favorite role?
Oh gosh, I mean, I like them all. Can I say that?
Sure.
Because
Absolutely. Yeah.
you know why? Because the first two were done when I was much younger, clearly. Second two were done 40 years later. So, Lauren is a different person in a different place. I think I had more fun doing, of course, I'm going to say Girls Night Out because I met my husband. But
Right.
Girls Night Out was such a party atmosphere. Excuse me. It was such a party atmosphere. And Friday the 13th, Steve Miner ran a very tight ship.
Okay.
So not a whole lot of yucking it up. The
Okay.
beach scene with Stu Charno and Amy Steele
Right.
and Tom McBride and me, we got to yuck it up in that one and ad lib a little bit in that one
Okay.
because it was a really relaxed thing. But when
Right.
it came to the nighttime scenes, because it's at night, you're filming at night, they just want to get it done. So there was really not a whole lot of yucking it up on that.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Had the most fun doing Neighbors in between all of that with
Yes.
John Belushi and Dan
Of
Aykroyd.
course. Yeah,
That was
absolutely.
the most fun because it was fun on set and it was definitely a lot of fun off set.
Offset. I can only imagine. Yeah, yeah, that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Why, and maybe just the offers weren't there, maybe you weren't interested, but you mentioned that it was about 40 years between, doing those, like from Girls Night Out to In a Violent Nature. What was it that brought you back to horror or made you decide to do that again?
Well, I was on a soap opera for 12 years in
Okay.
between after Girls Night Out. And then I hosted a TV show on Lifetime after I
Okay.
did that. So that's 12, 13, 14 years. Then I hosted some other shows around the country, some morning programs. So
Okay.
that's 15 years.
Yeah.
Then I became a teacher. I went back to
Okay.
school and became a school teacher. So I taught in East Harlem for a long time. And then for various reasons, I was done with that. To be honest, I disagreed with all the early testing of people who are only 5 and 6 years old. I just
Sure.
don't agree with it. So I decided to retire from that job early
Okay.
as much as I enjoyed it and
Right.
enjoyed teaching the students who grew up in the same circumstances I did, low
Yeah.
socioeconomic, broken homes, and whatnot.
Right.
So that was very rewarding, but I disagreed with all the testing. And
Sure.
so I left, and that's when the convention circuit started. And then In a Violent Nature came along. I know they had spoken to other people, they had other ideas, and I read a part of the scene for them, and they were like, like Best in Show at the end when they pick the dog, you, the Lauren Marie Taylor with the brown hair, you.
It's so funny. Oh,
Yeah.
well, it just, I mean, it surprised me. Like you said, a lot of people were surprised that you were in that one at the film, that you pop up there towards the end of the movie. But at the same time, I thought it was so cool because it reminded me of, I'm like, oh wow, I've watched her forever. I remember these other ones. So yeah, it was great to see you on there.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I'll tell you this, because a
Sure.
lot of students that I had early on in like 2011, 2012, so they're all, here he comes again, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Big Lou. He's Big Louie the Paws. A lot of those students will get in touch with me on Instagram and say, are you the same Miss Lauren who was my first grade teacher? And I'm going, this is why I'm very careful about what I post.
Yeah, I can
Even
only
the photo ops, I'm very careful about cropping the photo ops with the brown undie photo ops that I do.
Yeah.
Just right.
I
All
understand.
teenagers now, but still, it's a
Yeah.
little awkward.
Yeah, that would be odd. I can see that. So
Yeah.
that makes perfect sense. What were some of the differences? Like, what when you did Friday the 13th too, back in the early 80s, you do Girls Night Out, and then you get to come back all these years later to do something like In a Violent Nature. Was it a lot different as far as the way things were done, shot, filmed? I mean, is there just a lot of differences in the industry?
The use of multiple cameras
Okay.
is definitely different. You have the one here, you have the one, I'm referencing In a Violent Nature, of course, because it was special circumstances. I was driving a truck.
Right.
So you had one camera here, you had another one on near the side view mirror, you had one on the other side view mirror to get, so all these cross shots and different sized lenses and different angles, adjusting all these things. That was a huge difference for me,
Okay.
instead of, so that's why they can get so much done in
Sure.
such a limited amount of time, because they're filming you in several different ways at once and then changing the lenses to get a two shot or a close up, more ambient type of stuff. So that was different. I've been on big budget TV shows. They film a lot in my neighborhood. So,
Okay.
once in a while they're like, oh, Lauren lives there, let's bring her dog in, I handle the dog, they need a
Right.
dog, very well behaved brown and white border collie. They watched him grow up on FBI Most Wanted. They
Okay.
watched Banjo grow up over the course of a year. He worked like every other month. It was very cute. But anyway, when I first brought him on set, I was like, who are all these people? Because the movies that I've done in the past, you didn't have that many people. Even Neighbors didn't
Right.
have a ridiculous amount of people.
Sure.
And that was a Zanuck and Brown production. That was huge. John
Right.
Allison, the Academy Award for directing Rocky, a huge movie.
Yeah.
But we still didn't have all these people. I mean, so many people. Even the people who supply the meals. There's so many of them. Way back when we were doing movies, you ordered, you didn't order, you had to go and get McDonald's.
Right.
There was no
Right.
Grubhub. So those are the big differences. Is it just the sets now in terms of the actors. I want to say they're spoiled. They're very catered to. Like we
Yes.
always had to do this and go like this and go like this or like this, like this. Whereas now they have people with brushes. They have people doing this.
Everything for them.
And I'm just because even like when I did In a Violent Nature, it was like the messier I look, the better.
Yeah.
Do not sneak that lipstick, Lauren. I said, it's cherry chapstick. No, no makeup. A little bit of makeup. So those are the big differences. It's the amount of people that work on them now as opposed to, and also the camera business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Short. Sorry, that was kind of long-winded.
No,
Oops.
that was perfectly fine. That's what we like to hear. So yeah, very, very interesting. Outside of, if you don't mind me asking, outside of your acting and of course spending time with family, that kind of thing, what other things do you enjoy doing?
Oh, I love trail running. I'm a little kooky. I'm like a cartoon person now. Trail running. Sometimes if I'm going down a hill too fast, I'll actually go. Boom, 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 boom. So that's always fun. I have a beautiful spring garden that comes up every year because I putter for like a month in the fall with my bulbs and planting new things and whatnot and moving rocks. My neighbors just look at me. They're like, what are you doing? I'm digging up more earth and moving more rocks. So I enjoy it. I volunteer when they need me for the Pointer Rescue Organization.
Okay.
They have, we got our pointer pit mix
Right.
from way back when, and they need people to help them transport because they come from different states. Like he's from Alabama, and he came all the way from Alabama up through up to the Eastern Corridor, up through Virginia. So I do the leg that's usually from Newark Airport, sometimes as far as Albany, or maybe in Connecticut. Yeah. So once I had a deaf dog, and I've only had one puppy that I've transported, but once I had a deaf dog, and it was so funny because, you talk to them. They're in the back seat of your car. They got little seatbelts on because they have doggy seatbelts.
Yes.
Weird. And I'm like, oh, you're such a good boy. Look at you. And you see the dog look at me like, can't hear you. Give me something to eat. I can't hear a word you're saying. Something to eat. And I love cooking. I love cooking and baking. Yeah.
Very good.
And
Yeah.
clean bathrooms,
Yeah, all
vacuuming.
the everyday stuff that we all love so much.
Oh my gosh, every day. I'm doing a gig coming up, and they're like, make sure you bring pantyhose. And I thought, I just decluttered my dresser and I threw out all my pantyhose. I was like, I'm not going to use pantyhose. Who wears pantyhose anymore? I got to go to CVS and get a pair of pantyhose for this. These are the things I think about, you know?
Yeah, that's all right. Well, I mean, so one more question, and I won't take up any more of your time. But you mentioned that you like to cook, you like to bake. So, what's your favorite thing that you cook, and then your favorite like dessert that you bake?
This is going to sound so normal because I make things like curries and stews and soups
Okay.
and all kinds of things. I make a killer baked macaroni and cheese.
Okay. Very good.
Killer. With one, two, three different kinds of cheeses and a beautiful panko
Okay.
buttered top with Parmesan cheese. And that's really good. And I'm known for my crumb apple pie.
Oh wow, I'm a huge apple pie fan, so that's interesting.
Oh, yeah. I do the homemade, and I make a killer carrot cake, no raisins, but coconut.
Okay, very nice. And I
Those
have
are
not
my
heard of that
favorite.
being done before, so very cool.
Well,
Very,
if I ever make it down to Oklahoma or Texas, I'll have to make some pecan sandies for you guys and bring those.
yeah,
My
that would be
mother-in-law was from Texas, and
okay.
every year she used to make these delicious little round cookies for Christmas called pecan sandies, and you have to
Yeah,
mash them up and everything.
right.
Apparently, I've perfected her recipe, and
Okay.
this year, I mean, I've been making them for how long? This is
Yeah.
the first year they actually said, "Oh my God, Lauren, these taste just like mom's." And I went,
Oh wow.
I finally did.
Finally,
After
that is amazing.
43 years of baking these things, I finally got it right.
It's all right. You never gave up. That's so cool. Well, yeah, I do hope that you're able to come to something in Oklahoma or Texas or something like that. It would be amazing to get to meet you, especially after now getting to talk to you a little bit. But uh,
Thanks. Thanks, Sean.
no, you're very, yeah. Thank you, and thank you again so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it. I've up to this point, I've only been doing a lot of horror movie reviews, things like that on my channel. That's what most of it is. I have a few people on, and we talk about different things that we've collected from horror movies, things like that. But
Yeah.
I've wanted to try interviewing. I know a few other people that do some interviews. My friend Aaron at A&B Horror Movies, he
Oh,
actually
I
mentioned that
love
you've been.
Erin. Oh, Erin is
Yes.
better. Great. Oh, you should get Felissa on. She's amazing.
Okay. Yeah. I will
Amazing.
reach out and try. I don't know if she would say yes, but I really didn't know if you would say yes either. So
You
I
never
just,
think.
yeah, Aaron had been encouraging, and yeah, Aaron has been on my channel multiple times. I've been on his channel. Aaron's
Oh,
a great
yeah.
guy, one of my dear friends. So, yeah, when I mentioned to him that I had reached out to you and you said yes, he was telling me how amazing you were, and how, how much I would love having you on. So, and he was 100% right. So thank you so
Oh,
much for coming on. I really do
yeah.
appreciate it.
They actually sent me, along with one of their logo T-shirts, a steel book of In a Vile Nature.
Oh, very cool.
Isn't that so
So
sweet?
nice.
I
That's
was
very
so
sweet.
shocked. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they have some great things in their collection. That's every month he and I and a couple of other people get together and just show different things from our collection. He's got some amazing things. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I wish I'd been able to fix the light bulb in my overhead probably before I'm on, because I have a nice little collection, and my son-in-law is a professional framer. So my
Okay.
brother gets me a lot of posters, and he frames everything for me. So I have all these things that are just look amazing in frames. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
So next time I'll make sure the light works and I don't have to change the light bulb.
That's all right. Well, Lauren, again, thank you so much for coming on. I really
Thanks,
do
Don.
appreciate it. It was so very kind of you. Yeah, and everyone, again, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate everybody. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. I'll be back in a couple of days. My friend Brendan from Our Life in Horror, he's coming back on. He and I have been going through all of the older Scream movies as we get ready for the new Scream to come out. So we'll be talking about Scream 4 and 5 this week. And yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. So like, subscribe, comment, and go follow Lauren on Instagram. Do you have any other social media that you use, or is it just Instagram?
I'm Lauren Marie Taylor, one on Instagram. I'm really bad at Facebook. Every time I try to put something on my wall, it goes to someone else's. I'm really bad. But I have a website. It's just my name, laurenmarietaylor.com. I'll be updating it this week. And hopefully, if I get to it, it's so crazy, but hopefully I'll get to it this week and update, appearances, projects, links to the AI movie Slow Burn that I told you about, and Snake
Yes.
Mass, all
Yeah,
those.
Snake Manor, you said, was out now. So everyone go watch Snake Manor. Go check out Lauren's website. Follow her on Instagram. Lauren, thank you again. And
Thank
everyone,
you,
thank you so
Sean.
much for watching. I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Take care.